Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Barbara Coffey, Director of Economic Initiatives for the City of Tucson. This is our September edition of our monthly webinar series for small business, Connecting for Success. Today, we'll hear from resource partners on all the great sustainability, conservation, and efficiency programs that are available to small business. We'll take your questions as we go, so feel free to enter those in the chat box or the Q&A. We'll get to as many of those as possible in our time together this afternoon. We will keep all participants muted since we do have a large number of attendees, and we will record the session and make it available for everyone tomorrow. You can find links to this one and all previous webinars at connecttucson.com. So let's get started. Ryan Anderson serves as the Manager of Business Development at Tucson Electric Power. Ryan supports the team of key account managers and facilitates TEP's proactive partnerships with key customers, advocating for company support of key customer energy initiatives, such as strategies for resiliency, sustainability, and fleet electrification. Before joining TEP, Ryan spent more than 2 years as the Energy Transportation Planning Policy Advisor for then Tucson Mayor Jonathan Rothschild. Before that, Ryan practiced law in the private sector. He graduated from McGill University in Montreal with a law degree in 2007 and also has a bachelor's degree in philosophy. So welcome, Ryan.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Is everything sound good? All right, I'm going to share my screen. Let's make sure you can see that. Give me a thumbs up if you can see that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Barbara, and it's good to be here with Candace and Jason. I have a small slide deck to talk about how TEP supports your businesses in energy objectives. So I did want to give you a quick overview about my department, give you an overview of what TEP is up to, and then dive into some of those programs that may benefit your operations. So my department, we support our key accounts and our business accounts. We help folks sign up for our energy efficiency programs, take advantage of our electric vehicle rebates, and our Go Solar shares, so participating in some of our elective sustainability efforts. We also help folks understand and decipher the rules and regulations that we have to comply with, whether it's a federal or state rules and regulations. We also help put together special partnerships as folks are thinking more and more around energy. We're here to help them think through their goals. So just a bit about TEP. Our service territory is about, let's see, I want to get rid of this thing at the top. Our service territory, can you guys see this little black bar at the top as well? I'm trying to hide that. No? Okay, all right. I can see it. We're vertically integrated, so that means we do generation, we generate power. Most of our power is outside of the urban core. So for example, our Oso Ground wind facility, about the size of Manhattan, is in New Mexico. Some of our firm generation is up in Springerville. Those come across large transmission lines into substations that steps down that voltage into our distribution network here in the urban core. We have about 438,000 customers, about 396,000 of those are residential, about 40,000 are commercial. We have around 523 industrial, 4 big mining customers, and then other just kind of unique. Our peak system demand, so peak heat in the summer, is about 2,427 megawatts. Every year, our peak demand for energy climbs as our population climbs and as our businesses and residents increase their energy intensity. We are regulated by the Corporation Commission. We're big on a spirit of volunteerism. Over 10,000 hours, employees volunteering in the community, and over 3.2 million in charitable contributions. So because Barbara talked about our sustainability plans, I do want to let you know that as a company, TEP has a very ambitious but realistic plan to move in to transfer our generation assets into renewable and other forms. So we've been an early adopter of renewable energy and storage, but we're increasing the pace of our adoption. So if you haven't learned about our integrated resource plan, that's a plan we have to file with the commission that talks about how we're going to produce energy and meet our community's needs and the way that the community wants that energy produced. So after our last integrated resource planning stakeholder process, we landed on a plan which we have filed, and we'll be 70% renewable by 2035. A lot of folks I talk to are not aware of that. It's a very ambitious but exciting effort to bring in more solar, more wind, and more storage. So you can see that we got 1,400 megawatts of energy storage as part of our IRP. We're going to have an 80% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions and a 70% reduction in water use. I cannot remember off the top of my head what the baseline was, but if you Google TEP IRP, you'll find this info document on the infographic on the right, and it will tell you what the baseline was. We have over 1,000 megawatts renewable in operation now. Just brought Borderlands Wind online last year, as well as Oso Grande Wind, and then our Wilmot Solar and Storage, which is 100 megawatts, just south of, if you go south on Wilmot, you run into it, dead ends there. So we're proud of that. It's exciting. We want to let you know that if you go into our website, you can see our clean energy tracker in real time. We have one where we actually have this needle here in which it shows you how much wind and solar we're producing in any 15-minute increment. It'll talk about our current solar output, our current wind output, today's max output, and it'll kind of talk about the percentage of renewables at any given moment, because balancing the intermittency of renewables and introducing that onto the grid when it's available and ramping down firm generation, such as natural gas and coal generation, is what our operations folks do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We're focused on reliable, affordable, sustainable energy. Together, the grid, like a water utility, in a lot of ways is a natural monopoly, meaning it's cheaper if we do it together. When we go into these large community scale projects, get some significant cost savings. When you have folks go third party, it does put an upward pressure on cost for all the other customers. Because if you have $100 worth of expenses and 100 customers, we're all sharing that. But if you have 50 customers, the pressure on those remaining customers is greater. Partnering for progress, folks that do have energy goals, going to jump into that now. We've got energy efficiency programs, EV programs, and in some cases, special contracts like we have with the U of A to help folks move beyond the pace of our plans to move into renewables. So 100% of our top customers and 80% of our remaining, 100% of our top 10 and 80% of our remaining top 100 have environmental, social, or governance goals, or ESG goals. So if your business has energy goals or ESG goals, reach out to us. I'm going to spotlight energy efficiency here. We have an Easy Save program designed for small businesses and schools to help improve or create higher efficiency lighting, refrigeration, HVAC. We do have approved contractors, and that program helps offset the cost of making these upgrades so that you begin saving on those investments much more quickly. So if you go to TEP.com and look for energy efficiency, you can find the Easy Save program there. We have Easy Save Plus, which is for larger commercial folks that have warehouses or large cooling units, ones that require larger upfront investments. We can help offset those upfront costs. Again, lighting, energy management system controls, variable frequency drives, compressed air refrigeration. It's a great program. We push out a lot of rebates to these two programs. Spotlight on new construction. For customers that are designing a building, we can help on two ways. Either look at your whole building design to make sure that we can move your projects 10% above kind of efficiency standards that ASHRAE call out, or we can help with the systems approach, where you're just looking at your energy management systems or your cooling systems. Don't have too many more programs that I want to spotlight because I know it's a lot of content. Another spotlight is our electric vehicle program. So a lot of customers are very interested in installing chargers at their facility. You see, we've got pretty generous rebates at the moment. So level 2 charger, it's up to $4,000 per port, or 75% of project costs for the standard. For disadvantaged communities, it's even greater. We also have them at multifamily housing, and then fast chargers, which are more expensive. Those for the ones where you can charge a car in 15 minutes or less. We provide incentives, technical support, and help walk you through the 3-year site host agreement and the pricing plan that you're required to go on to harvest those rebates. Also want to let you know that we have community solar programs. One's called the Go Solar Home, others called Go Solar Shares for businesses. These programs help you subscribe to basically a portion of the output associated with our large community arrays, like the one at Wilmot that I was calling out before. These programs are neat in that you don't have to put infrastructure on your roof of your business or your home. It does fix a portion of your bill, and it helps signal to our regulators how strong the interest is in investing in renewable resources. I do want to let you know that we have a lot more. I know we don't have, I just wanted to give you an overview and encourage you to reach out to us if anything kind of piques your interest. We have a marketplace where we offer thermostats, lighting, EV chargers, and for both residential and commercial customers. We offer weatherization assistance, a heat pump water heater program, pool pump program, help you look at energy smart homes, Trees for You, which we coordinate with the mayor's office quite a bit on, and then educational outreach for educators as well. So I just want to let you know that we do this every day. We're really excited to help folks with that. Here's Todd Hanley at Hotel Congress and Manny Romero, one of our account managers, installing a charger right across from Hotel Congress. We've got Joe Cruz here meeting with Walmart as they were talking to us about their goals. Here we are visiting the University of Arizona, the new facility. They wanted to make sure they had energy efficient lighting. Here you got Sahuarita School District. They just pulled in a rebate of about $184,000 for energy management systems across a number of schools to balance their heating and cooling load. And then we also got a significant rebate to Parks and Recreation for their new irrigation pumps. So hopefully Candace will appreciate that one. It's pretty exciting because energy and water nexus is so closely tied together. So wanted to give you that message that together we can find solutions. If you're thinking about increasing your efficiency, if you have environmental, social, governance goals, reach out to us. And a lot of customers ask us, why we're going so ambitiously into more renewable generation. Just kind of want to call it a couple of major customers. City of Tucson, they want to be carbon neutral by 2030. Maybe Candace will talk about that in a minute. We have Walmart here, another major customer. They want to have zero emissions across global operations by 2040. They want to have 100% renewable energy by 2035. They want to have electric vehicles delivering all their products. The Army, all the military installations. This is from the Department of Defense, but this just applies to Fort Huachuca. They want to have microgrids by 2035. They also want to have 100% carbon pollution-free electricity by 2030. So when customers say, why are you doing this move into renewables? It's because we're responding to our community. So I just wanted to stop there. And I turn it back over to you, Barbara. I'll be here for questions if anyone have any. But thank you for letting me present. It's good to be with you all today.
That's awesome. Thanks, Ryan. It's I can already see there's some interest. As a matter of fact, Lisa is asking, who does she talk to for the educational outreach piece? If you can provide a name and contact number and maybe put that in the chat, that would be great. And I would ask that, as you think about, you mentioned something about developing environmental social governance goals. And that's, some businesses may have those already, but for those who don't, how do they go about that? Where do they start, or what are some examples of some of those kinds of environmental social governance goals?
Should we hold the questions until after the presentations? Because it's a good point, but it's a deep subject.
It's deep. Well, level, what do you think?
I would say looking at the Department of Energy, they set a lot of great baselines and a lot of good information for both water and energy, building envelopes, and they can help. For a lot of folks, the reason you set environmental, social, and governance goals is because they actually do help motivate folks to make the investments that can reduce your operational costs, reduce the overhead. We have a great relationship with EGs where they took advantage of interior and exterior lighting across a number of stores. They did it at a number of stores at the same time, and they had such significant savings that they actually were able to reinvest and open a new EGs. That's the type of efficiency we really want to encourage. That's
excellent. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say, right? That there's savings, there's some benefit, and you don't have to figure it out on your own, right? I mean, the idea is reach out to you all, talk through some of these possibilities, and put the numbers to it. And I think it absolutely makes a difference. So that's great. Thanks for that. And we'll come back to some other questions as we go. Right now, I'd like to introduce Jason Lowry, Director of Sustainability Initiatives for Local First Arizona. Jason received his bachelor's in International Affairs and Spanish, his master's in Sustainable Communities from Northern Arizona University. He worked as a community organizer with the Industrial Areas Foundation for 9 years, mostly in South Texas. He returned to Arizona from there in 2020. Since joining Local First Arizona in 2022, Jason works to increase the reach and impact of the organization's statewide sustainability programs, scale up, green business certification, and the Charge Ahead Challenge. With that, I introduce Jason.
Thank you, Barbara, and good afternoon to everyone. And give me 1 second while I pull up my screen right now. So Jason Lowry, Director of Sustainability Initiatives with Local First Arizona. And today I want to just kind of guide us a little bit through 2 of the flagship programs that Barbara already mentioned, which are the Green Business Certification and Scale Up. But before we do that, what is Local First? What's our mission? And really kind of one of the leading pioneers, leading thinkers of this type of economy, a local economy, Wendell Berry, he said, a good community ensures itself by trust, by good faith and goodwill, by mutual help. A good community, in other words, is a good local economy. And so for Local First, our mission is to really create a vibrant, inclusive, and sustainable Arizona economy by really focusing our time and our energy on supporting locally owned small businesses through everything from technical assistance all the way to sustainability, food systems, agriculture, et cetera, to make sure that our small businesses are resilient and able to do business for generations to come. And a big part of that, obviously, is the sustainability team. And our first program is the Arizona Green Business Certification. And what this program is it is a certification program that provides one-on-one consultation with the sustainability initiatives team across the state. And it helps to deliver very concrete, specific strategies and recognition to reduce your company's impact, to positively affect your bottom line, to help you save money both now and into the future. And really important for us, understanding that a lot of small businesses don't have the same marketing budgets that many of the larger companies have. Local First uses its ability to really kind of blast it out to provide free marketing and really lift up our businesses that are being good stewards of our shared natural environment across the state. And what does this mean in terms of benefits for companies that are participating with us? One of the big things I already mentioned is it provides one-on-one work to come up with a customized plan that shows best practices and recommendations on how to improve. And really importantly, it lifts up local entrepreneurs and businesses who are leaders in Arizona's small business sustainability movement, which in turn helps to build customer loyalty. And what we're finding importantly is it also builds employee loyalty when they feel that they're connected to an institution whose mission is looking at something above and beyond the dollars and cents that the company brings in. And so how does this work? A business will contact Local First through the AZ. You can either email us directly. I'll share my email in the chat in a little bit, or you can sign up at az.greenbiztracker.org. And then that basically initiates the whole chain reaction where we reach out to you, we give you a questionnaire, we come, we visit, we look at your space, we look at your business, we provide follow-up questions and things to look at and focus on. And then once, this is for any business who wants to make their business more sustainable. And so any business that has shown that they're willing to invest the money and the time and the energy in reducing their carbon impact, even though a lot of this may be low-hanging fruit, this is the type of certification that will allow you to do so. And again, to be recognized within Tucson and across the state as an Arizona certified green business. One of our favorite examples of this is company Eco. They're an online retailer based out of Tucson. They were just certified this year. A couple of the things just to lift up, they use 100% of their operations are run off of solar. They take recycling of myriad types of waste very seriously. And lastly, just kind of knowing that Arizona is in the middle of a water challenge right now in crisis, they importantly use all native landscaping, which really helps to reduce their water impact moving forward. And again, they have been really projected out in there through our social media or marketing to really recognize them for the work that they've done on this. Our second program that I want to lift up quickly is Scale Up, which is a cohort-based 7-week program. And what this does is it walks team members or business owners through a series of classes looking at energy, water, transportation emissions, waste, and sustainable business practices or a sustainability culture within your business. And it guides them through that and helps them to implement a project, including providing access to for small businesses, which many of you know really struggle to get access to financing frequently under $250,000, which is oftentimes not what they need to do this. So this program helps them get access to low interest customer-based financing to really bring it to fruition. This focuses, like I said, on energy, water, waste, transportation, green teams, etc. You get to go through these classes with leading experts and thinkers throughout Arizona who can really help us think about the broader context, if you will, the water we're swimming in Arizona concerning the climate challenges that are facing us, and to think about business-specific practices, programs, etc., that you can make to really help to ensure your business will be around for the foreseeable future. This is just real quickly what the cohort looks like, taking you all the way from orientation through water, energy, waste, transportation, etc., all the way through to the end where you do a group presentation laying out what's the project you want to do. And importantly, what you can see, you're not on your own doing this. As soon as you come into the Scale Up program, you're working with sustainability initiatives team members to basically perform an audit and set a baseline and identify what are the things you want to change. The consultation from the sustainability initiatives team includes working with you to develop a very specific project where our goal is to help you to reduce any of those categories by 20%, whether it's energy consumption, water use, waste, or transportation. And then lastly, thinking about how does social equity in the environment, how do those connect in environmental justice to really make sure we're thinking about this broader than just any one area in Tucson or Arizona, making sure that rural, low income, minority communities, et cetera, are also able to participate in the businesses and also in this program moving forward. And here are just some examples. I think this was cohort 1. You can see a broad array of different businesses that joined us. The vast majority, especially in the first one, were from Tucson. Y'all are always leading the state in that regard. All the way out to cohort 9, where we continue to have broad representation from across the state. Here's an example that I enjoyed, the Sonoran Glass School. They went through Scale Up and they realized glass making is very energy intensive. It creates a lot of waste byproducts. And through Scale Up, they realized that they could connect with Bottle Rocket, which makes different types of concrete products, countertops, etc., candles, pet bowls, you name it. And what they were able to do is they were able to shift over 100 pounds of glass waste a week to Bottle Rocket, which lowered their waste costs. They're putting less in the dumpster. That's less that the city has to pick up. And they were turning it into, they were reusing it, recycling it as a new product in the Tucson area. And another one of my favorites is Harris Fletcher Enterprises. They They serve 150 people annually in the Amphi neighborhood in Tucson. They mostly work with veterans and refugees, and they really work on affordable housing, job skills training, etc. And what they did coming through this is they basically did an audit on all of their facilities, that Local First was able to connect them to an organization that could help them do that. Coming out of that, they looked at their energy and water costs in particular, and the sustainability team provided recommendations on what they could do, and they implemented a whole host. I know Ryan was just mentioning the cost benefits of energy efficiency. They implemented a whole host of energy efficiency retrofits and weatherization and water conservation measures. And what you see is they have reduced their energy and water bills by between 40 and 50% by implementing these changes. So again, this is money that's keeping them in business. These programs are saving money that they're able to put into programs that are helping disadvantaged communities there in the Tucson neighborhood. And just real quickly, kind of the statewide impact we've seen, nearing 60 participants so far. Tucson continues to lead the way in the state in terms of participation, which is exciting. And we're looking at over almost 1,300 employees have been impacted by projects like this throughout Arizona. And so if you're interested, and I'll put this in the chat, you can, if you're interested in reaching out and participating, having a conversation, we'd love to talk to you. I'll put this information in the chat as well as my email. So feel free to follow up.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jason. And that reminds me, Ryan, to also put your education contact there at TEP in the chat if you can. I know several were asking for that. And I did double back. Jason, you know, your examples were amazing. As a matter of fact, when we hear of some of the successes from our Tucson organization, Tucson companies, we get real excited about that. And I wonder, for someone who might be considering being part of a scale-up cohort, for example, how do they know they're ready? I mean, you might have a checklist. It looked like as a process for intake. You know, how does a business owner know they're ready to pursue a transformational goal in environmental and sustainability practices?
You know, that's a really good question, Barbara. We have worked with businesses, everything from in the startup phase to fully established businesses in their communities. So for us, I don't think there are any hard requirements so much as wanting, you know, if you're in the startup phase or already established, if you are interested in just joining a cohort and networking with like-minded business leaders like you from around this state, and you want to figure out what you can do to be a better a better steward of the environment, and also to see what you can do to save money, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you and see if either Scale Up or the Green Business Certification is right for you, and also see if there are any other things that Local First can assist you with beyond just the sustainability team. Like I said, technical assistance and beyond. So please just reach out.
Awesome. That's easy enough. And I think that's fantastic. Sometimes it's just picking up that phone or making that initial outreach. I want our business owners to know how easy that is. That's why we do these webinars, so they can kind of put a face and a name together, and it takes the mystery out of it. So thank you for that. So we'll move on. I'd like to introduce Candace Ruprecht. She's the Water Conservation Manager for Tucson Water. Her team delivers efficiency solutions to customers through one-on-one water audits, rebates, and educational resources, and plays a key role in research and demand management planning for the utility. In partnership with a team of local organizations delivering resource programs to the community, the conservation program has engaged nearly 600,000 people and helped save over 4.2 billion gallons of water in the last decade. So welcome, Candace.
Thank you so much, Barbara. I'm happy to be here today. This is an exciting opportunity to connect with other resources in our community and share a little bit about what Tucson Water is working on in the conservation and efficiency space. So just one moment while I get my slides in presentation mode. Oh, it's all the way at the end. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, well, you're just gonna get the reverse preview.
Do that.
Okay, here we go. All right, well, thanks again. I work at Tucson Water, which is a department of the city of Tucson. I'll give you just a brief overview of Tucson Water because one of the interesting things is it actually serves about a third of its customers outside of the city limits. So we serve almost 400 square miles, reaching 750,000 people. We deliver about 30 billion gallons of water each year to our customers through an infrastructure network of over 200 wells and 60 drinking water storage facilities that can handle over 300 million gallons of water at any given time. That's done with over 4,600 miles of pipe and lots of booster stations and control valves because our service area, as we all know, is not on one level elevation. Most of our water is stored west of Tucson in Avra Valley in recharge basins. That water is our Colorado River water. We recharge and recover that each year. So that water stays in the aquifer until we pump it out to deliver to our customers. I don't have a slide on it, but like a little piece of trivia that we always like to share about our system is that we're still storing about a third of our Colorado River water supply each year in the ground in Avra Valley. So that's our savings bank for the future, and we continue to add to that each year. That's not to say there's not a serious crisis on the Colorado River. There certainly is. There are many players table, hopefully working to solve how we navigate a future that is hotter with potentially much less river flow. But Tucson has really positioned itself over the last several decades to have a system that stores the water locally and is able to meet customer demand. In addition, we have access to groundwater. And as you see on this next slide, we are really focused right now on a one water solution. Ryan mentioned that TEP's done a strategic plan. We are working on our one water master plan. This is an update to a long range plan that'll take us out through 2100 with a focus on integrating all of our resources into this one water approach, meaning that all water has value. Each resource, we try and find a best match in terms of beneficial uses, and we take an integrated approach to using and planning for these resources in the future. We're currently in an active stakeholder engagement phase, and we're rolling out some community engagement this fall. So as an individual customer, as a business owner, we'd encourage you to go to TucsonOneWater.com. You can sign up for updates, help us by taking a quick survey, which will be launched later this fall. Let us know your thoughts on water supply, water demand, and your hopes and dreams for the future of Tucson as it relates to a sustainable future. So a little plug for our master planning effort going on. And then on this slide, you'll see those same colors represented with the addition of an orange insert at the end or on the right side. And I'm sharing this because it tells a story that sometimes we like to spend 10 or 15 minutes talking about, but I'll keep it brief. This is the amount of water we've produced in Tucson going back to 1940. So you can see that over decades, dark blue is all groundwater. We're the largest groundwater provider and the largest city dependent on groundwater in the country for a very long time. The lighter blue is the introduction of Colorado River water. You can see that's the bulk of our supply. The purple, of course, is recycled water. And then there at the top, we've started to add in conservation. Of course, that's not a use, that's a savings, but what this highlights is that last year, our conservation savings and our reclaimed demand were nearly equal, just under 13,000 acre for both. And without conservation, potable demand, we estimate would be about 10% higher, and that's just through utility-sponsored conservation. So the conservation program partners delivering services in our community really continue to play a strong role in managing demand and helping a path forward to a more sustainable future. And just to highlight what those savings represent, like Barbara mentioned, we're tracking over 4 billion gallons of savings since 2009. We've done conservation for a long time in Tucson, but we have really good data going back to 2009. So that's why we use that date. We've invested near $15 million in rebates and incentives for our community. We've replaced almost 70,000 toilets and urinals, including almost 8,000 free toilets for low-income customers. We've also rebated over 3,000 rainwater harvesting and graywater harvesting installations, including over 250 subsidized systems for our low-income customers. And was mentioned, we've reached over 600,000 students and community members. And in this time, we've also done 18,000 customer water audits. So I'll give you a little more info on some of those items that relate to business efficiency. I'm just going to highlight though briefly residential incentives because I'm sure many of us are Tucson Water residential customers. We offer free conservation kits. So we send out little kits of items that you can install at your home. It's free. It's a free service that we offer through our education partner. And then we have customer rebates as well. Toilets, clothes washers, gray water systems, rainwater harvesting systems. So those are available to any residential customer. And then moving on to commercial and multifamily programs, we have a suite of services that we offer as well. So the most popular are rebates for toilets and urinals, and that's done through a rebate online. We also offer a customized commercial program that we've called the TAP program, and we're working on reinventing right now. That program is offering customized incentives based on what the commercial customer really needs. And that starts by taking a look at what's happening on their property, looking at the data, understanding what the uses are on the property, and understanding what the opportunities are for savings. So this graph here on the left is an example of a customer we just with to try and understand what was happening with the multiple meters at their property. We have a team that goes out and does these audits, extracts data from meters, looks at monthly consumption, tries to understand the patterns of use at the property. In this case, you can see they had a really high usage event, but what they determined was that for whatever reason in this system, this 1 meter was taking on the load for the whole property. So that's not necessarily an efficiency opportunity, but in particular, there's opportunities for irrigation savings at these large landscape properties. So this process, like I mentioned, is called the TAP process. We work with you to take a look at your property, identify solutions, and then build a custom incentive package that makes sense for your property. A few examples really are, we've done Raytheon rebates. We've worked with them on their urinal replacements. So they've done a big retrofit on their campus, and we were able to provide a rebate for that. We also have worked with Sunnyside Unified School District, and we just gave them, I think, about $150,000 rebate for toilets and urinals across many places. On a smaller scale, we've worked with a couple laundromats to upgrade their clothes washer technology, and that was really exciting to dig into details of calculating the pounds of laundry and the per person use of that, and figure out what they could upgrade and get an incentive for. And I believe they got about a $20,000 incentive. And then right now we're also working with the big tower on Broadway, that 5151 tower, to help them upgrade their cooling tower. And so we're looking at the savings. They've already done the replacement. And so we did a 50-50 with them where we rebated 50% up front. And then we're looking at how those savings prove out over the next year before we finalize that rebate. But for the TAP program, and I'm sorry, I don't have slide with details, but we usually rebate either 50% of the equipment cost, or we calculate a savings based on, we calculate based on projected savings. So whichever of those two is less is usually how we calculate the rebate. And I can provide more information on that if you're interested. We do offer a suite of services for commercial customers, and I would say almost always it starts with what we call an audit or a free checkup. And this is available to any customer, both residential and commercial customers. And like I mentioned, we start with pulling data from the meter, looking at monthly consumption, identifying opportunities to reduce waste and increase efficiency. This then leads to figuring out what type of custom package we could put together for our commercial customers. So I'm going to keep going. This data is for the residential customer, but I think it does ring true across the customer classes. When our team goes out for these audits, they find that almost 40% of the time, the high bill issue is a problem with the irrigation system. That's scaling, or whether that's a broken component. About 40% of the time, it's related to irrigation. And over 45% of the time, it's related to a toilet. So we know that toilet irrigation systems really are the biggest opportunities to manage waste and reduce loss and increase savings. So if you're looking for opportunities, we always say look there first. If you don't have a landscape or not much of a landscape, it's less likely it's going to be an irrigation system problem. But even in landscapes that are, desert adapted native landscapes, if you have an irrigation system, they are prone to leak. So those are the two biggest opportunities for managing waste that we mentioned to all customers. And one of the ways we help customers manage these irrigation systems is by providing them with this irrigation schedule. It's very basic, but we are really focused at Tucson Water on educating customers on 2 seasonal irrigation schedules. A winter schedule, which starts next week, that we suggest using through April, and then a summer schedule that runs May through September. So basic premise, but excuse me, it's really matching up the right amount of water for the right type of plant in the right type of month. So this is one of the basic ways we educate customers, is just get your irrigation system programmed correctly. Another area we've really dove into with our customers is on home water monitoring and leak detection. We say home because we often provide this information to residential customers, but these devices are available for all types of customers. And at the low end, they're $200, and at the high end, they're a couple thousand. But the goal here is to notify a customer when their leak is done on the private side of their system. And then in some cases, depending on how sophisticated they are, this unit can actually turn off to make sure the water is being wasted, not having a flood type situation. Eventually, Tucson Water will have AMI, which is automated metering infrastructure. So we'll be able to notify customers in real time if they have continuous flow or a high leak event. But right now, if a customer is interested, we say this is a way to ensure you're not going to have a high bill, because you'll get notified as soon as the device notices continuous flow on the meter. All right, last couple of slides, and just highlight education programs and low income programs, because I think these really round out our efforts to deliver conservation solutions to the community. And in particular, the Smartscape program is a landscape professional training program that we've sponsored for over 25 years in Tucson. And so not only do we have a team working with customers, we really believe in training these professionals who are truly boots on the ground for mitigating climate change and building an urban canopy. And so this program is available throughout the year, but provides two series throughout the year targeted for professionals where they learn lots of different types of information, ranging from irrigation controller programming to how to maintain and care plants, in a series of 10 classes. And so this is a great resource if you are interested in managing your landscape, or you work with a landscape contractor, to get them to take Smartscape and make sure that they are up to date on the best research, because this is run through the U of A. So they're really tapped into these professionals at the U of A. We also, as you can see, offer K-12 education programs through 2 different education contractors that we've partnered with for many years as well. And lastly, just to highlight, because I think it's important that we share these services as widely as possible, we have a few different low-income programs that our customers can take advantage of. We have a low-income rainwater harvesting grant and loan program. We have free toilet replacement program, and we have an emergency plumbing repairs program. So if a customer qualifies based on their income, they can receive these services in addition to existing rebates that we offer for all customers. So happy to provide more information on that as well. And I think with that, I will stop there. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thanks, Candace. I'm just thinking about, and in particular, as you talked about the low income conservation program, that's something that's also available to businesses that might qualify in some way?
That's a great question. We have not developed that type of program, although any customer can take advantage of our bill assistance programs. And I'm not clear on the details of that for commercial customers, but I could look into that and get back to you. I think it's true that we have more work to do that area to bring some equity to commercial customers that may be in need of those type of services as well.
No, that's great. And I even think about, as a resident, you can annualize your payment plan. And I don't know if also that might be a strategy for business as well. If you look at your power usage and your payments over time, and it's certainly easier to manage cash flow if you know it's to be expected. Is there some opportunity there?
That's a great question as well. We are working on a billing system, and that our current billing system does not do that. I know we can set up payment plans for customers who have, a very high bill and they pay that back over time in addition to their bill. So I'll have to look into whether that will be built into the new system. I don't believe it's built into this system, that is a feature that you could enroll or your own.
Okay. So there was a question also about the seasonal water schedule. Again, can you reiterate the plan for that? And I think the winter season is about to start next week.
Yep, I'm going to put the link to that because it lives on our website as well.
Okay.
And
Perfect. So all very good information. And I think what it points out to me, and hopefully to those listening, is that there are a variety of programs just waiting to be tapped into for businesses to take advantage of savings. And I know it's overwhelming at times, right? Like business owners are just trying to manage the day-to-day operations. And it's hard to give some of these programs extra time and consideration. And I think the message that you've all shared today is that it's as simple as sort of starting somewhere, right? Picking up the phone or sending a message to any one of you or all of you, but at any point in time, just starting with that first step and then walking through some conversations with you all to identify what's the first thing that the business might want to accomplish based on their own goals. I want to go back to one question so you can all maybe share your thoughts, but because some of you mentioned this, as consumers and customers are demanding more organizations they do business with. I mean, more and more, right? Millennials, Gen Y, Gen Z, they want to align their own purchasing power, right, with the businesses that share their values. So what do you say to small business owners about that? What should they be thinking about with that in mind? And what is some of the maybe low-hanging fruit to start with? Who would like to jump into that? Ryan?
Sure, I was thinking Jason, but I'd be I'd be happy to do that. You kind of asked about that when you were putting your finger on the environmental, social, and governance goals. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that is definitely a major trend across corporate America nationally. You have, like I mentioned before, when I was doing some research on Walmart, I was surprised to see that they have a goal of 0 carbon emissions by 2040. A little far out, but they're also working with their entire supply chain. So you're beginning to see that effort, which is why TEP's plans, as covered in our integrated resource plan, kind of move in that direction. We're tracking with federal government, tracking with corporate America, tracking with what our mayor and council and our board of supervisors are saying and doing. So I guess people, they begin to work on programs like this for a whole host of reasons. Some do it because they're deeply committed to environmental stewardship. Others do it because they want to reduce their bottom line. I mean, they want to increase their bottom line by reducing overhead costs. And so it's really kind of talking to your board, your customers, and your leadership about what motivates you. But to your point, taking some time, really understanding these programs with I'd say water and like Tucson Water and TEP, we have some of the best rebate programs out there for utilities. Southwest Gas has some. But our programs are really great. And I would encourage you to take the time to kind of take that forward look and see how you can save. So I just put that in the chat. I also wanted to say something about Candace's, when she's talking about summer versus winter water usage. It's the same with energy. We have summer peak and off-peak rates, and winter on-peak and off-peak rates. And those change. And so if you are somebody who monitors your energy consumption closely and you can manage it, you can sign up for our time of use program, in which you pay more for peak hours, but significantly less for off-peak consumption. And so it helps folks respond to some of the market signals to keep overall costs low for producing energy. So I'm going to drop that in the chat too. Over.
Jason, something to add?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would just say, it can feel daunting trying to navigate all of this on your own. And I think really the exciting opportunity is whether it's local first and our teams who know how to navigate both Tucson Water and TEP's rebates and opportunities there, as well as other opportunities, or just reaching out to TEP or Tucson Water. Don't feel like you have to necessarily come with any solutions in mind. That's what we're here for, to help you kind of navigate that. And, again, I would just say, especially for locally owned small businesses, a really important thing, local first, a big thing is getting your name out there, being recognized for really being a leader in that small business sustainability movement. And so any way that we can help to support you to do that, to lift up your brand, your work, your business, that's what we're here for.
That's great. So I was going to go back and make sure, Candace, you had the seasonal water schedule. Did you want to mention that or put that in the chat, the website?
I think I did put it in the chat. I accidentally clicked the answer live first, but can you see the link that I put under Lisa's question?
I do not. Lisa might, I think she said thank you, so that may mean she's seen it. But if you want to put it in the chat instead of the Q&A, that would be helpful. Then everyone will have it. It's good information, and again, it's a great reminder. I think we've timed this webinar perfectly for some of these programs. There was also an earlier question I wanted to go back to from Ross. He had asked about solar. He says his business installed solar in 2021 and depreciated most of the equipment. They were unable to take all the business losses in 21. Does the recent Inflation Reduction Act provide energy credits to help his business reduce the carryover? And the answer there from Ryan was, you're still trying to understand, I think we all are, the impacts of the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, and that there's a lot to learn there. And certainly we'll hear more from the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency Office, and the Department of Energy soon. So the message there is stay tuned, right? More to come. Any other thoughts on that as to sort of federal legislation that would be coming down the pike? Brian? Yeah.
I just want to say, even the federal agencies are trying to wrap their arms around all the money being deployed. You're seeing money for energy storage, both commercial and residential. You're seeing tax credits extended for folks that want to put in solar arrays. But you're also seeing a lot of money coming out for transportation electrification. So EPA, our Region 9, they partnered with us and APS to help present to our school districts about all the money available for electric school buses. We partnered with the city of Tucson's Suntran and obviously, as you know, Department of Transportation. And through TEP and city of Tucson's partnership, we brought in $6 million in federal money. Now we have 10 electric buses. And that was just capturing the grant money. And we didn't quite know what to do. We just had to study those grant opportunities, talk to the folks administering those grants, and and we were successful. So just that kind of can-do spirit, I think, is a good ethic.
Excellent.
That's such a good way to put it, Ryan. My team has been asking that too, and we know that the city of Tucson water user in our community, but there are so many water users, and looking for solutions and really acting as a pass-through to help those customers get access. Something we're trying to pay attention to and figure out, how can we get conservation dollars and really make an impact in our community outside of city facilities. And so anytime a business has an idea, these conversations can hopefully lead to incentives from the city, but then in this moment, hopefully also federal dollars as well, if the timing is right.
Great.
Barbara, I just, I'm looking at the chat,
Okay.
and it looks like I can only message the host and the panelists, and I think that might be true for Ryan as well. So
I recopied.
I'm not, okay.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you did. Okay.
I've been watching that. It happens.
Okay.
So I made sure that now everyone should be able to see those. And I think, again, I really appreciate the great information. I think this is helpful. It's a topic we haven't brought forward in a while. So this is great. And as many of you all referenced, the city's climate action plan and the adoption of the climate action resolution was really pivotal in terms of, I think, our intentionality now as a community to move this forward. And again, Jason's stats on Tucson leading the way in many of these programs for business speaks to that. So I want to keep that conversation alive, and I appreciate those who attended today, and as well all of your input. So thank you all for being panelists with us today. It's time to wrap up, but I do want to remind you we'll be back together next month on Tuesday, October 25th at 3 p.m. So be sure to watch your inbox for the announcement and registration link. Let's keep you connecting for success. And don't forget, in the meantime, you can call our City of Tucson Economic Initiative Small Business Assistance Line at 520-837-4100. And you can visit connecttucson.com for resources and to sign up for our email newsletters and updates. And so again, we've got lots of folks here to help. And so that's the story. Thanks everyone for being here.